and I was one of those people. I thought that you had to be of a certain pedigree to be able to be in the real estate and development industry. I thought that you had to have some sort of bloodline or degree or certification to get into it. I never thought that it was something that I could just go do.
Hey everybody, thank you for joining me. My name is Aaron Payne. I'm your local realtor here in the Nashville area. Today I've got a special guest. I'm super excited to invite Doug in today. Doug and I used to go to high school together, grew up together, probably spent about 2 years almost every day, probably getting into more trouble than we should have. Man, we have grown up. We've moved on. We've both gotten into real estate, and I'm super excited to have him here today to explain a little bit about what he does. Doug, man, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, appreciate you having me, Aaron. My name is Doug Earthman, and I'm with 2D Investments, and we are really a private equity group. We help passive investors invest in private real estate offerings and diversify their portfolio.
So, Doug, so give me a little bit of insight into what 2D Investments is. What do you guys do? Why did you start? Where did you come from?
Yeah, so I got my degree in geological engineering. Been in the engineering world for about 10 years now. And I really saw a lot of different aspects of the development and real estate world from a due diligence standpoint.
Sure. Yeah.
And it really got me thinking. I just saw a lot of these real estate transactions going on, and it piqued my interest, and I started really looking into it like a whole lot of other people did during COVID. Really dug deep into learning and educating myself about real estate. And really what we do, our whole goal and philosophy is to break down the barriers of real estate investing to the average investor. We're looking
because there are a lot of barriers. There's a lot of big words. There's a lot of stuff in front of you that would keep you from doing that.
Yeah, it's really intimidating, and there's a lot of really smart people out there that just, they're like, I don't have the time or energy to put in all of the work that goes into analyzing these deals to make sure that they're, mitigating risk and getting in with the right people. So we're doing a whole lot of the legwork and helping educate investors through our platform and provide a pretty turnkey service to help people diversify out of the stock market and into real estate. Lots of people, as they get educated in real estate, start an exodus from the stock market when they realize once they've done some true due diligence and looked into case studies and found the return profiles and the diversification. I mean, you think about diversification, it's like, okay, you got your stock portfolio, you got your real estate, like real estate in itself, you can diversify in so many different areas and different asset classes, strategies, geographic areas. It's limitless. So it in itself.
Now, should somebody go to somebody like you to figure all that out, or do they need to strategize between financial planner or?
I would say that we're not financial planners, and that consulting with a financial planner, your accountant, would be the best thing to do. But I will say, in terms of diversification in real estate, we provide a lot of different options to our investors to diversify into different, again, asset classes, different strategies. So if you want to do a take on a little more risk and do a value add play versus a stabilized cash flow play. Like, so there's different things and there's different deals to meet different goals and risk tolerances.
So what do you find is what's your biggest roadblock in your business right now? And like, how are you getting investors from from one side of that roadblock to, I see the value and I want to invest?
So, we deal with, like everyone, FUD, fear, uncertainty, and what is it? Fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
Yeah.
Is that it? Yeah. So, we deal with that. I mean, people are weary about investing in general. A lot of people have seen their 401ks or their portfolios just take a massive hit. And so either people don't have capital that they can deploy because their accounts are under, or they're just a little bit weary about it. And if they don't know, they're not educated enough in the real estate industry, they don't know the terminology, the jargon. They don't know how to read a pro forma and financial statements. They don't understand the returns. It's hard to get someone to place money, and we don't even recommend that. Like, we want people to understand what they're putting their money into. We don't want people to blindly just, hey, let's give this a try. It's like, no, you gotta know this stuff. Let's figure out, let's teach, let's understand prior to getting into it. And so, our first goal is to educate, and hopefully the content that we're going to be providing, along with, we have blog articles, we're starting a podcast, we'll have social media posts, and just consult sessions with people to help educate. So education is really the way around that. But I will say the fear in the in Wall Street in general, and uncertainty is actually driven people to start exploring real estate investing. So that's actually, I want to say the fear of the market has hurt us, but it's actually helping us as well.
If you aren't investing in real estate right now, like, you better believe that the guys that are benefiting from everything in the tax world, they're going to swoop in and they're going to buy this real estate. Mm-hmm. Like, so if you're not taking advantage of that right now, like, you're losing out.
I agree, man. It's a golden opportunity, and there's a lot of capital out there, and there's a lot of people that think that investing in real estate is just out of their ability. And I was one of those people. I thought that you had to be of a certain pedigree to be able to be in the real estate and development industry. I thought that you had to have some sort of bloodline or degree or certification to get into it. I never thought that it was something that I could just go do. And most people actually, they say, like, well, I'm not just sitting on a big pile of cash to go invest. And, a lot of people don't know where to look for that cash. And I'm a prime example of someone that's figured out how to lever other things in my life to be able to get into the game. It's like there's a ton of people out there. If you've ever switched jobs and you had a 401k at that previous job, most of the time that gets rolled into a self-directed IRA that you can invest in private real estate offerings and take advantage of the tax benefits. So grow your retirement account through real estate. And it's like, what? Like, where? Like, why didn't I know this until now. It's like there's a lot of people, their biggest asset is their home for most people.
Right.
And a lot of people have equity in their home. That's something
A lot more than they think. They have no idea what their home's worth, what their equity stake is in their house, and how they could invest that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's ways to get into the game, and it's there's opportunities everywhere. And I think that was a huge turning point for me, is waiting for opportunities to come to me versus just seeing opportunity all around myself. That was just a mindset shift that happened. And I just, everywhere I look, I see opportunity, and there's tons of opportunity no matter what the circumstance is. So it's just shifting your views and looking at everything through a different lens.
So that brings me into another question I have for you, man. So, like, who has been a professional mentor for you?
Yeah. So my mentor, Mickey Bernstein, who's actually now my business partner.
Awesome.
He is. So we started meeting when I decided that I wanted to really dig into real estate investing. I started meeting with him to discuss. He's a retired dentist who has been investing in real estate his whole life and has a lot of experience in different asset classes, and just has done it all, and has had, successes and failures, and just has a lot of wisdom. Failures are learning moments and teaching moments. And without them, I mean, if you haven't failed, you're not trying hard enough. It's like, but yeah, he just brings a whole lot of wisdom to the table. And we started by meeting for coffee. That turned into meeting for lunch. That was just us bouncing ideas back and forth. And we formed an investment group. We analyzed some deals together. That sort of fell apart, but I just kept going with it. And I formed 2D Investments. And my mentor, Mickey, was one of my investors. And he'll straight up tell people, like, I was just investing to be supportive of Doug just because I was, had helped him along, and he started getting return from his investments. And he was like, whoa, wait a second here. I'm going to look a little bit closer into this and what Doug is really doing. And he approached me and said, I like what you're doing. I want in. I want to be a part.
I love it.
So, and that was a huge, like, unbelievable compliment to myself. It's like, he, like, this guy who had helped me along, all of a sudden likes what I'm doing so much that he wants to partner with me. He wants to come out of retirement to work again. And so that was a huge, motivation that, like, okay, I'm on to something. So yeah, exciting times. But yeah, Mickey has been instrumental and supportive and helpful. And it's been awesome collaborating with him as a business partner.
What is one piece of advice that you would give to anybody that's looking to enter into real estate, especially somebody who is maybe not confident enough to invest a ton of money, but you guys do syndication, right? That's your specialty.
Levering other people's wisdom and knowledge is the advice I'd give to anyone trying to start out in the industry.
Like, average everyday guy, I shouldn't go learn how to invest in real estate.
Well, I would say, yes, you should learn how to invest in real estate, but you don't want to be the person with the with all the risk.
Okay.
How do I say this? You want to find knowledgeable people to help guide you through the process. You want to, so I wouldn't want my first taste into real estate. I wouldn't want to go buy a 100 unit apartment complex and try to model out uh, the whole business plan and the financials and go to a bank and try to syndicate this thing myself. Like, people do it. There's all sorts of success stories out there. People like buying apartment complexes or, starting out house hacking and growing their way up to, thousands of units. But you also have to look at, like, what kind of time are you looking at devoting to this? Like, do you have a full-time job? Do you have a family? How much time do you really have to become an expert at whatever real estate path you're trying to take?
Property management. I think that is probably the first thing that people forget about when thinking about investing in real estate is, do I want to take that job on? Do I want to be a property manager? What does that look like? Well, it looks like being the janitor, the handyman, all of it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and then if you don't want to do that, someone else is cutting into your profit margin for doing that. So then you look at your margins are all of a sudden compressed and you're like, is this really worth it? So, that's sort of what led me into, I started looking in single family, vacation rentals, short-term rentals. Like, that was the path that I was on. Bigger pockets, that's how everyone starts down the real estate world is bigger pockets. And it's a great, the Burr method, like, it's all great. But I was looking at my risk tolerance, and I didn't want at the time I couldn't justify the risk of going into the single family rental world for the small margins and 100% of the risk.
Right.
I just, like, the risk analysis of it, I was just like, I'm not comfortable doing this.
Doesn't make sense.
I wanted to do it because I had just seen so many people succeed in it. I was like, I'm going to be the guy that does not succeed in this. Yep. And so I was just like, but I want to do something. And so I just started looking in different areas. And when I started getting some opportunities in private real estate offerings, after, it took a while before I started getting those opportunities, because you have to know people to get those opportunities. They don't just show up.
It's super important to know people. Have a real estate agent that is involved in the market, that is involved with your investors of your whatever county or city or whatever it is, right? Because you're never going to see these deals that are out there that should be like picked up super easy and seem crazy when you hear about them. There are people who know about those deals, and it happens almost, it seems like under the table, but they're right in front of your face, right? Like,
absolutely.
After everything that you've just told us, number one, define syndication for us, and like explain what are the myths around it that we really shouldn't be worried about.
So syndication is pooling investor money together. So you pool investor capital in order to take down a larger real estate project that a one person most likely wouldn't have the capabilities or the capital to do. So it's just combining powers of investors to meet the equity requirements for a large real estate project. And you're splitting the risk with other people. And within a syndication, they're divided between general partners, or the sponsorship team, and limited partners, which are the investors. And what's important about the limited partnership is investors their risk is limited generally to the amount of capital that they put in. There are groups that will take $10,000, and to be honest, that's how I started my business. Is I was getting 5 of my friends together, and we'd form an LLC. Everyone throws 10 grand in, and we meet the minimum requirements for a syndication. So the LLC is what's investing into the deal as a limited partner. And as long as you meet the requirements, like, they don't care if the entity's entity's a limited partner or an individual is a limited partner. You can invest through your trust. You can invest through, like, there's a bunch of different ways you can invest in these deals. There's some really cool stuff out there. So that's how I started out. I was like, I'm a member of 10 plus LLCs. Like, that's like,
it sounds crazy, but that is the smart way to do it, right?
I was, if you're limited in capital, if you just have 10 grand that you can come up with once or twice a year, form an LLC with some friends, or make sure that those friends are very aligned with you, that they can come up with capital at about that same. I would say that that's one of the biggest myths is, you got to have a lot of capital to do this. And I wanted to do it, and I made it happen. I put people together. I was the deal maker. I was like, hey guys, like, let's do this. Let's make some money. Let's,
How important is the exit strategy for somebody?
I'd say it's incredibly important. That's where the bulk of your money is coming at the exit. So having a defined exit point, but knowing that could happen earlier or later, and making sure that the deal pencils either way. So we make sure that the properties we invest in, that we're okay holding them if there's a turn in the market, and that the loan that is backing the property isn't, we're not going to be forced to sell in unfavorable conditions, which is where
they're not going to call your loan.
Right.
They're not going to call you and say,
well, and a lot of people right now are getting caught, great projects, great, model, but the economic conditions right now have driven interest rates up, and people with adjustable rates and or rate caps that are getting forced to sell instead of refinancing. It's unfortunate. None of the projects we're in are adjustable rate. They're all fixed rate. It's just one of those measures. But exit important. Different strategies are going to have different exits. The value add exit is, we want to try to exit a deal sub 5 years, if not substantially below that. Certain deals are aimed towards stabilized cash flow, and you have people that aren't as concerned with a big pop at the end, a huge return. They want stabilized cash flow, and they want the tax benefits.
Surely this is somebody's retirement, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so, but yes, exit's extremely important, and different projects or different time horizons, but that's really what drives your exit, drives your internal rate of return. And if you can press exit and still have a sell at the projected exit cap rate, then you just go parabolic on your internal rate of return. So yeah.
And surely somebody's exit has some impact on how they're going to inject into the market. But you guys, I mean, I assume you guys work with every investor that you've got to make sure that they're doing the right thing,
right?
Not just for the book or for the portfolio, but
we want to make sure that we are helping them achieve their goals. So like, depending on their goals, risk tolerance, that we will try to match them with a good project that fits their parameters, because everyone's different.
Are there particular areas in our state or in the country that make sense, or does the cap rate or the equity rate match in syndication as it does in, say, you go buy a single family dwelling, or you go buy 4 doors and now you got a quadplex? Like,
I'll say, like, we're I've looked at a few opportunities in Nashville, couple opportunities around Memphis. We're actually not invested in Tennessee at all. We're heavy on the East Coast. We have a big project coming up in Houston, Texas. We're in North and South Carolina, Georgia. Have a project in Texas. We have some industrial in Colorado, Illinois, and Maryland. We're all over the place. We're looking, like, the Memphis market is awesome. We just haven't done anything here yet. There's so much industry coming. We have the Ford Blue Oval plant. Eastern Arkansas is blowing up with U.S. Steel. North Mississippi. There's all sorts of industrial drivers all around this area. So there's lots of opportunity, and we will eventually be partaking in that.
Explain a little bit more about how somebody would actually, like, invest with you.
So website, there's plenty of spots to opt in. You can get in touch with us on social media, and really scheduling a time to sit down and either in person or have a phone call and talk about goals and level of risk, what your knowledge in investing in real estate is, and from there, we have a online investor portal that we give our investors access to, and that actually has opportunities that our investors that we give access to can look through and actually go through the whole investing process through our portal. So
that's awesome.
We host webinars. We'll to discuss specific projects. We have a upcoming project and a webinar, and we'll present on it and answer questions and help people understand.
So, dude, I really appreciate it. Hey, go ahead and tell them one more time how they're going to find you. We'll go ahead and put, like, some sort of, I don't even know how to do this, like Instagram, Facebook, email. Let's do a phone number down here, and I'll edit all that in after we get done. Email Doug at 2dinvestments.com, website www.2dinvestments.com. We're on Facebook, Instagram. We have a podcast coming soon, and we'll be able to we'll have a YouTube channel. We got it all. Feel free to reach out. We'd love to chat. Sweet, dude. I'm super excited about it, man. I do appreciate all your time, all the information. I learned a lot more than I thought I would tonight, but I'm sure everybody else out there is going to learn a lot more than I did. So I do appreciate it, Doug. Thank you so much for your time, and we will catch you on the next one, man.
Sounds good. Good talking to you.
God bless, brother.